Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Racing Season number 3. We're at Portimao. It's a lovely circuit. It's almost guaranteed for some good racing. We've been here twice before. Fantastic racing. And it's free, so enjoy it. Big news actually out of today's patch is that you no longer require to own all the content to play a replay, which means anyone can get their hands on a Zero Racing replay and help me do commentary and prevent me from having to do this solo. Just saying. Let's walk down the grid. Championship leader in a downright unstoppable Jason Monds starts on pole. He's been imperious from pole the last 2 times he's been there, winning at both Bathurst and Norris Ring. Added a win in the Norris Ring or in the Bathurst sprint race as well. He has finished, had that blip in the radar. Finished 5th last time out, showing a little bit of humanity. We'll see if that can be checked today. He starts on pole with the number 48 Audi of Alessio De Bonis alongside him. Following that, we have Carl Raggio in the number 17 Audi, followed by the top BMW qualifier, number 13 P4 Mike Mark. Then we have the number 3 of Mercedes of Martin Lauer starting P5. Wes Stokes joining him on row 3 in the number 31 BMW. With his best qualifying result of the season, the number 99 Audi of Michael Magasevich will start P7 ahead of the number 84 Mercedes of Rick Martel. And another man who's celebrating, I believe this is his best qualifying, the number 18 of Dule Markovic starting from P9 inside row 5 with fellow BMW driver Mark Klapzul, the number 11, joining him. At the back, returning from some technical difficulties that forced him to miss the Norris Ring, the number 27 of David Collins, the Audi driver. He's been the protege of so many of really this great Audi team that is dominating the constructors title, even if they really can't seem to bring it out and actually take over against Jason Monds in the title hunt. Will this be the day? Let's find out as we get rolling here at Portimao. And we're off to the start, and it looks like Jason Monds has gotten a pretty good one. Oh, Wesley Stokes spins it around and loses it. That's a big deal. De Bonis has got it, though, on the inside. He has taken the lead cleanly from Jason Monds, who's going to have to work for this one, it looks like. Raggio, Lauer, and Mike Marker in a bit of a mess there. Is that P6 is Dave Collins. The man who started at the back is P6. David Collins must have had an absolutely thrilling start. He's in this lead group. Joining him is Michael Magasevich, who is, I believe that would be P7, and P8, Mark Klapzul. The other cars have had some problems. Wes Stokes, Rick Martel, Dule Markovic, and I believe we are also short. Now, I believe that probably is it. They seem to have dropped out of this just a little bit. Jason Monds has, dropped behind Carl Raggio, though, as I'm blathering on. He's now P3. What has happened to the championship leading Mercedes driver? This is amazing. At the front, Alessio De Bonis is going to just try and kick it into high gear, and maybe his teammate Carl Raggio can provide some needed blocking for him to make some grounding on Jason Monds. P4, Mike Mark in the BMW. Mercedes is Martin Lauer. Dave Collins is 6. Michael Magasevich has fallen way off of the back of this group. I believe there was some contact between him and Mark Klapzul that has forced them towards the back. They are 7th and 8th place. 9th is Wes Stokes. 10th, Dule Markovic. And outside the points is Rick Martel. We go back to the front of the pack, and it is still Alessio De Bonis leading. Oh, and Dave Collins in the background is way off the track. That can't be good. De Bonis has still got the lead, and Raggio still making a 1-2 for Audi. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Raggio is actually pulling away from Jason Monds. So he still hasn't found that groove yet. Mike Mark still under pressure from Martin Lauer. Dave Collins is dropping off the back of this a lot. But still, a fantastic start. This could be a fantastic result for Dave Collins, who qualified for this race in P11. Really did not look like he had the pace, but he is P6 right now, looking for things. Michael Magasevich still having a little bit of a battle with Mark Klapzul in P7. Klapzul in the BMW P8 right now, that the lone Red Bull car with the absence of Thomas Waz, the Audi driver. Looks like someone took out some pylons there. We did not see who is the culprit on the pylon killing spree. Wesley Stokes, Dule Markovic, Rick Martel still there. DeBonis. Oh, Raggio is in trouble. Raggio is in trouble here. He's got a lot of pressure coming from Mike Mark and from Jason Monds. Martin Lauer has slipped back into the grasp of, I believe that's still Dave Collins. We need to check that out. What is Dave Collins is up ahead of Martin Lauer. What has happened here? Martin Lauer, who was pressuring Mike Mark for P4, has suddenly found himself really kind of lost. He lost out a lot of ground at some point, and then appeared to have lost control of the car. It looks like he just had a double off as he comes into this highly technical portion of the track. Really, really difficult portion of the track. I can't sell that quite enough. Looks like he just loses the front end a little bit and winds up on the grass, and then just not really in control of it. And Dave Collins is going to move into the top 5 from the back of the grid. What a fantastic race he is having right now. Battle's still on here for P7, and this may end up becoming a higher position because, of course, they should be coming up to Martin Lauer in the somewhat near future. You can see the cars coming through the background there. Wes Stokes, Dule Markovic, and Rick Martel, the cars who had a bit of a rough lap 1. And Magsevich is still going to hold his lead here over Mark Klapzul. He was the faster in qualifying of these two. He's not really showing quite the race pace, though. Or Klapzul is just a lot faster in the race than he was. There's Martin Lauer, who's actually fallen behind these guys. This is now the battle for 6th place. I was mistaken in saying that it was the battle for 7th. They actually did, in fact, pass Martin Lauer at some point. Dave Collins kind of running on his own in 5th. He's got to be really happy, though, right now. I think we haven't seen the end of this battle for 2nd place. This is a 3-way battle for 2nd now. Mike Mark, I think, may be the fastest of these guys right now. He's really closed the gap and is really up with them at this point. Carl Raggio looked like he was pulling away from Jason Monds, but it doesn't look like he's quite got that speed in bunches, or maybe Monds is just pacing it, just conserving the tires, trying to let it out. But this is a big battle here just from a championship standpoint. Jason Monds has been absolutely imperious so far during this title battle. Carl Raggio desperately needs to hang on to this position, and DeBonis is disappearing into the distance, so this is all just playing into hands of the number 48 car right now. Further back, we still have Magazine. Oh, Dave Collins has gone off. What happened to Dave Collins? An absolute Cinderella story was going on here. He was in P5. He was having a tremendous race. What happened? He wasn't really anywhere near anyone, so this must be just a case of going off. And it's the same spot that claimed Martin Lauer by the looks of it. He gets a little high-sided here, clips a bit of curb, loses it on the green stuff, ends up on the grass. Here comes Magasevich, Klapzul, and Martin Lauer. That's going to be 5th, 6th, and 7th. Now Collins is going to rejoin in. I believe that'll be 8th place, although Wes Stokes says, thank you, I will take that 8th place. Thank you very much. Wes Stokes, by the way, has really seemingly lost Rick Martel and Dule Markovic. Dule is in the pits. What has happened to Dule Markovic? Back to the front. This is the battle to watch. This is the one really important. Carl Raggio still hanging on. Audi versus Mercedes versus BMW. Once again showing the great parity in these cars, even if the championship has been very much all Audi. This is what you get in the DTM system of cars. Good parity, really nice looking cars, some interesting looking liveries. This is fantastic action right now. Jason Monds coming down, doesn't really seem to have a run on the inside. Mike Mark is still there, still very much keeping in touch. What a big deal it would be for Mike Mark to pull off a podium. BMW's had such a rough time this season. They're really struggling to kind of find themselves. Generally speaking, having to run a lot more wing in the car than the Audi and Mercedes counterparts. And I think that's hurting them on the straightaways. You can kind of see it here, actually. Anytime we get into a straightaway, it kind of opens it up a little bit. He should have better cornering, though. And you do see that when he comes through, particularly these higher speed corners. He is making up a little bit of ground with that BMW. They just need to find a little bit of a way to find that stability with a little bit less wing. And I think we'll see a lot of competition from the BMW crew led by Mike Mark. Further back, we still have Mike Magasevich running in 5th place. He's got Martin Lauer on his tail. It looks like Clap Zool may have had an accident. Wesley Stokes and Dave Collins are through on him. Wonder what happened to him. Rick Martel in 10th. Whoa, not for long though. Clap Zool losing it there on the brakes, and Rick Martel says thank you very much. A disastrous first lap has really hurt the Mercedes claim, but this is the man who won Season 1 of Zero Racing in the Weekday Series. Don't underestimate him. I think he's going to be a much bigger player as the season goes on. He has the pace. He just has to find the comfort level in the cars. Alessio DeBona is still just in the distance, just not caring about anything right now as they're trying to win. Jason Monds is going for the pass. He's looking down the inside heading into the hairpin. I don't think there's any way for Raggio to possibly shut the door on that, but he does have the cutback, and Monds hits the curbs and loses it just a little bit. He's going to lose it to Mike Mark as well, I think. The BMW is going to go through, and it's now a Mercedes-less podium. How could this happen with the pole position of Jason Monds? The dominance, the imperiousness in qualifying, not really working out for him right now. He's P4, and he's going to have to be looking to strike back. This is still a fantastic battle, though. We'll see what happens. We'll take a look at the rest of the field. Martin Lauer at some point has gotten around Michael Magasevich. That's expected. Lauer's got the pace. Wes Stokes is coming on hard, though, in P7. Dave Collins still holding P8 ahead of Rick Martel and Mark Klapzool. And Dule Markovic still in the pits. I think that appears to be terminal. I don't think we're going to be seeing the BMW driver for the remainder of this. It's a shame. He had his best qualifying of the season coming into today's race. I believe firmly that this could have been a day for Dule Markovic, and it's going to be a shame if it ends up ending this way. I think it's already a problem, though. He's, I believe, lost 2 or even 3 laps at this point. Still leading this battle for second place is Carl Raggio. He's doing a fantastic job. The reigning weekday champion. This is his series. This is the one that he won after Matt Wheeler had to pull out last season. And he's desperately trying to hold on to some chances right now. He needs Mike Mark's help to keep Jason Monds back there. He really needs to make up some ground here. Monds has been absolutely dominant. Monds up the inside in the hairpin. Can he hold it this time? We're looking at, unfortunately, the wrong car. It looks like Monds is going to stick it, and he does. Jason Monds is up into P3 once again, making his way past the BMW of Mike Mark. This is buying some time for Carl Raggio, but I think he would have preferred to have the car between him and the championship leader. Martin Lauer kind of have a lonely run in 5th. Mike Magasevich is close to him, but probably has to worry more about Wesley Stokes at this point. Stokes in P7, Magasevich in P6. This would be one of the better runs for Magasevich, who's coming off a real rough time at Norris Ring. He had the problems with butchering the start, making the torpedo happen, receiving 25 seconds in penalties, the largest penalty ever handed out in Zero Racing history. You know, don't let that fool you, though. He's a class driver and a con guy. He's under pressure, though, from Wes Stokes, though. Wes Stokes, disastrous start for him. He spun the car on lap 1. He's been in recovery mode ever since. And can he make the move here on the Audi of Magasevich? This is a big deal for BMW because this is just the number 2 BMW in the race. Stokes going for it. Stokes going for it into the last turn, this high-speed turn. Magasevich is going wide. Not too wide, but he has definitely lost that position. But he does have DRS. He does have DRS. This could be a big deal as he heads down to the first corner. You can see the wing differences also on the Audi and the BMW. Just a lot of difference here. And the BMWs don't see... It doesn't seem like the Audis are really that unstable in turns. They seem to be able to run these low wing configuration. This ability to maximize some straight line speed without really a lot of problems. Bit of a mistake there from Wes Stokes. I think a little bit of loss of the front end. Magasevich takes it. And he's got the DRS down this mini straight. I don't think there's any play heading into the hairpin without a mistake from Magasevich at this point. And I say this, and Stoke was very close to shoving up the inside. That BMW showing some pretty good straight line speed. We've been talking about the lack of straight line speed for the BMWs, but Wes Stokes right there almost making it work. Magasevich now getting just a little bit of a cushion. Just a little bit of relaxation for the Audi driver at this point. But we still have a long way to go here. We are only about halfway through this race. Rick Martel has at some point gotten past up into 8th place, with Mark Clapzul falling through. Dave Collins has cycled to the back. He'd be happy to just get a point here, but I mean, today, let's not understate this. Today was a good experience learning as he goes off for Dave Collins. He picked up that great start, hooked it up really well at the start, took up to P6 and was running in P5 for a chunk of this race. He's a promising driver as he really tries to get off of that bit of grass there. DeBonis is still up front looking to take home his first victory of the season. Jason Monds is still all over Carl Raggio. I think the hopes for a podium are a little bit done for BMW here without a little help from one of these two guys, because I think Mike Mark has fallen off the back end. He doesn't seem to quite have the late race pace that these two cars have. This battle could go on for a long time. Let's just run through the field real quick. Martin Lauer alone in 5th place. Magasevich is still hanging on to 6th against P7 Wesley Stokes. P8 Rick Martel. P9 Mark Clapzul. P10 Dule Markovic is back out on track. He's trying to get the laps in. He's a couple laps down, but he is trying to get some experience here for race 2. That's good to see. Dave Collins is P10 still. Let's just ride here. Let's just ride here in the battle for 2nd place. This could be some fantastic combat right here as Jason Monds, championship leader in the blue number 2 Mercedes. Carl Raggio, the defending champion in the number 17 red Audi. It's been a rough season for Raggio. He really was the class of the field last season. It was a 2-car battle between him and Matt Wheeler throughout. I think some of the new talent coming in has really made this a lot more competitive. And they're catching Alessio DeBonis. I don't know if that's just Alessio DeBonis laying off the gas a little bit, just having a comfortable pace as opposed to pushing the car too hard. I don't know. Maybe saving the tires for possible rear defenses. But it could become interesting here in a couple of laps. I don't think there's really enough time, but it's just interesting to note that the gap is closing. A mistake by DeBonis could be big. Magasevich has lost Wes Stokes, and Wes Stokes is behind Mark Clapzul and Rick Martel. What happened to Wes Stokes? He was so close to Magasevich earlier on. I don't know what has happened to him. He's dropped down to 9th place at this point. This is terrible. Oh, and it looks like he had definitely a moment. This is definitely a moment here from Wes Stokes. Let's see here. Was it contact with Magasevich? Was it him on his own? What happened here? Doesn't look like there's any contact as we rode this in slow motion. He's looking for a possible move on Magasevich, who appears to have locked up pretty heavily there. And he's going for the inside. That's a wide open, it's wide open for him. And he just loses on the hill crest. That is so unfortunate right there. That turn is quite treacherous. It can't be overstated, to be honest. It's quite treacherous. And if we move back to the battle for 2nd place, this is the action where it's at. Carl Raggio, Jason Monds. I think Raggio has it at this point. It requires a mistake. We've only got 2 or 3 laps remaining in this race. He's got a little bit of a gap there on the number 2 car. Still has good position. Still can do this. Still can make things happen in the championship. It's not over, and races like this is a massive capitalization for the 2 Audis that are chasing this man, Jason Monds, for the title. I think Martin Lauer pretty safe. Mike Magasevich pretty safe in 5th and 6th. Rick Martel's got a pretty good lead over Mark Clapzul. Wesley Stokes is going to try and make yet another recovery run. I mean, it's been rough for Wesley Stokes this race. He made the mistake there. He had the bad start. He's on recovery run yet again. Dule Markovic really not a factor in this. Dave Collins on pace to get some points. DeBonis, Raggio, Monds, Mark. Everyone kind of running a little bit on their own. I think honestly the interest here might be with this battle right here, this battle between Mark Clapzul for 8th, and Clapzul runs wide as I'm saying this. Wes Stokes is coming on hard. This is a battle for the number 2 BMW, which, I mean, it's not much of a thing for BMW, but this is bragging rights. Clapzul's been kind of this really forgotten about guy. We forget he had a really, really good season 2. He's coming off of a great season, and he's had a hard time adjusting the DTM cars, particularly in qualifying over 1 lap pace. But don't underestimate him as a racer. if he could pick up the number 2 BMW spot in this race, it would definitely, I think, do a great deal for the confidence of the number 11 driver. Wes Stokes, though, is on the pressure, looking for that 8th place. He smells it. He needs it. He qualified in P6. This has just been damage limitation for him at this point. And oh, they get very close there. Clapsul's going to hang it, but I think he's much too wide, and indeed he is much too wide. Wesley Stokes is through. The number 31 is up into 8th place, but I imagine Clapsul will maintain some DRS here in this all BMW battle. He's got to be within that DRS window coming across the line. And let's see if he uses it. He is. Here comes the Clapsul on. But it's such a short run to that first corner. A lot of that run is on the prior lap. It's why playing the DRS here is so tricky in that regard. But he's got the pressure. It's not over, I think, between Wes Stokes and Mark Clapsul. This is the second DRS activation point. I believe that's DRS on for Mark Clapsul. And indeed it is. Can't quite get close enough. And we know that Wesley Stokes is very quick through this second sector. This seems to be his strength of the track. We've seen him up against a couple of people today doing some really good things in this section of the track. In the meantime, it looks like Raggio is still holding a battle against Jason Monds. This is the final lap, everybody. Actually, I think that was the final lap. So I think we do have results. We're just waiting for things to finish up here. The only thing I think really up for grabs here is this 8th place. Can Mark Clapsul make the comeback against Wesley Stokes? I just don't think so. I think Wesley Stokes is pulled clear here, and will be taking that 8th place home. You know what? Considering the problems here, he had the spin at the start. He had the spin there chasing down Magasevich. I don't know if 8th place is going to be something to be happy about, but I think it was damage limitation for him. Really good race for him. A really good recovery drive outside of the mistakes for him to take home 4 championship points. On the bright side, he's going to be P3 on the grid next time out. Although, you know, the real interesting thing about the next race grid is this man right here. Dave Collins, who had such a fantastic race 1 start, got from P11 to P6, briefly ran in P5. He's going to be on pole for race 2. What can he do with a clear track ahead of him if he can get it hooked up like last time? I mean, he's still very much the developmental driver of this group, but there's some big things here. There's some real signs of goodness here. He'll pick up 10th place and that single point and pole for race 2 as he does a little bit of wiggling across the line. So our final results in this one are Alessio DeBonis taking his first win of the season from Carl Raggio in an Audi 1-2, Jason Monds P3, P4 for Mike Mark in the top BMW, P5 for Martin Lauer, P6 for Michael Magasevich, P7 for Rick Martel, P8 for Wesley Stokes, P9 for Mark Clapsul, P10 for Dave Collins, pole tomorrow. And you got to feel for Dule Markovic, who seemed to have a problem there. He was in the pits for a couple of laps. He will start 11th tomorrow after finishing 11th today. Race 2 is coming at you shortly. Will it be as exciting as race 1? We can only hope.